Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Swanson. Today I'm going to introduce high contrast photography, and I have a few slides that I want to show you before we get started on the actual lesson. So a high contrast photograph purposefully includes strongly contrasting elements. In black and white photography, a high contrast shot will have relatively few gray tones, but you're going to see a lot more strong blacks and whites within the image. A high contrast color photo may have bright, almost iridescent elements that cast against deep, dark shadows. For example, in this image, we have the bright red shoes contrasting with its complementary color of the green grass. Same thing in this image. We have the bright blue sky or background contrasting with its complementary color orange of the bird's beak that we see within the foreground. One of the easiest ways to instantly increase the contrast of your photos is to switch your digital camera to black and white mode. By limiting the color palette, you will automatically raise the contrasting possibilities of your images. If you want an even stronger contrast, look for your camera's contrast settings. It might require you to take the camera off of its automatic mode and switch it to manual. When you find the contrast parameter, bump it up to about a +1 or +2 and monitor the results. Another way to intensify the contrast of your photos is to choose or create high contrast lighting. One technique is to shoot your subject in a dark room with a bright light source shining through the window. One side of your subject will be bathed in hot, bright colors or could be photographed with sharp white light, which will then contrast dramatically with the opposing shadows. This classic high contrast shot will then create a silhouette. We see this in the slides shown here. The one on the left is accented with the light that's shining through from the window, and the one on the right is highlighted by the street light that we see up above. And of course, when photographing at night to create this intense lighting, you want to do that without the flash set on your camera. Two photographers that we're going to look at are Ansel Adams and Annie Leibovitz. Adams was an American photographer, and he was also an environmentalist. Adams primarily used large format cameras because of their high resolution, which helped ensure sharpness in his images, so none of these images have been edited in Photoshop or Preview. Instead, what he did is he used glass plates and a dark camera filter, and what these did is it heightened the tonal contrast within his images. There are two main reasons, according to an expert source, why Adams preferred black and white photography versus color. The first is that he felt color at times could be distracting, and the second is that he introduced the idea of pre-visualization, and this involved the photographer imagining what he wanted his final print to look like before he even took the shot. These concepts and methods allowed for nearly total control of all the potential variables that factor into a final print. And because of his love for control, Adams disliked colored since it lacked this element that he had mastered with black and white. The second is Annie Leibovitz. This is an American portrait photographer, and I talked about a little bit in our Photography 1 class. She's most known for her depiction of known celebrities and iconic figures. Her style is very fun, eclectic, and very vibrant in color and contrast. She spends hours and hours talking to those photographed and then captures their personality, their essence, their naturalness of the characters. Her photographs transmit fantasy, love, luxury, etc., and she does this not only by her setup, but the color palette that she chooses to photograph with. Before you begin photographing, think first if you would like to capture black and white or color images. Once you have decided upon that, start thinking about items that already have a high contrast quality. Lastly, think about what program your image would benefit from more. Your preview setting on your downloaded images offers the saturation and contrast adjustments. This should be used for very subtle changes to your images. Photoshop, on the other hand, can be used for more drastic setting. Of course, you have similar brightness, contrast, and saturation settings, but you also have channels, levels, and curves that can be played with as well. Those can be found under Images on the menu bar, or as we see here on the Layers palette. Last but not least, I want you guys to avoid using threshold under the adjustment setting in Photoshop, as well as too much saturation in Preview and or Photoshop. As seen in the images below, it creates a more cartoon-like and fake image. And although we want to create high contrast, we still want to capture a sense of realism. So before you begin planning for your images, I would like to take a minute to show some simple images taken within a school setting as well as at home. All right, so for your assignment for your high contrast photo for this week, the objective is to increase awareness of patterns of light and composition by using contrast lighting situations, Photoshop, and or Preview. The requirement for this assignment is that you guys will need 4 images upon completion. Images may be all in black and white, they can all be in color, or it can be a combination of the two. Photos will be due by Friday in PDF format, created within InDesign, or professionally printed.